yung mga Chinese foreigners, ang ginagamit po nila ay yung registration and yung bibigay po nila ng data sa system natin that is being owned by Lenovo in partnership with the Unisys. In other words, Mr. Chairman, nakaka-access sila directly. Kaya nga, nung nakaraang hearing tayo, nagtataka tayo, bakit sa LCR, wala naman silang pinorward sa PSA, pero ang PSA nakapag-issue. So in other words, sa level pa lamang ng PSA, nakikita natin that namamanipulate na po nila yung pagbibigay ng tinatawag nating certificate para magamit nila sa pag-issue ng passport. Thereby, nagiging Pilipino na sila at pag Pilipino na sila, nakakabili na sila ng property. Yun po nangyari. Ito ang katotohanan eh. Napaikot tayo eh.
We asked the National Bureau of Investigation to update the committee on the status of the case that in the last hearing was yet to be filed. Have we filed the case? NBI. Oh.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and may we be informed on the details of the case that were filed?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I am from the Department of Justice, and I confirm that yesterday afternoon, the National Bureau of Investigation filed cases for violation of RA 9165, a violation of the passport law, and falsification of public documents, Your Honor. These cases now are subject to evaluation by the Task Force on Drugs of the Department of Justice. And within a period of 5 to 10 days, we will advise the National Bureau of Investigation when they can actually file if all the documents are complete for the conduct of the preliminary investigation, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. May we know who are the respondents in this case?
If I may, Mr. Chair. Those charged with violation of RA 9165 are the following, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Willie Ong, Edith Yang, Jack Tae Yang, Elaine Chua, Michelle Santos C, Sam Go Yang, Albert Valdez C, Wenli Shi, and there are 6 other personalities with aliases, Mr. Chair. An alias Ben, alias Eric, alias Bao, alias Mr. Wang, alias Kenneth, and an alias Jasper. The complete names of which we required the National Bureau of Investigation to provide us, as well as their respective addresses in the event that subpoenas will be issued to them in the conduct of the preliminary investigation. For the falsification of public documents and use of falsified documents, the following were charged, Mr. Chair. Mr. Willie Ong, Elaine Chua, Edith Tae Yang, Jack Tae Yang, Sam Go Yang, and Albert Valdez C. And for violation of the passport law, Mr. Willie Ong and Edith Tae Yang have been charged, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Fadulyon. Now at least we know that there are cases that were filed already, and all other agencies involved must also do their homework. So with that case, may we now ask the Anti-Money Laundering Council if any actions will be taken on the corporations or in the names that was mentioned as respondents to this case.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. We'd like to inform the committee, sir, that since this investigation started, the AMLAC has already started also its financial investigation. And we will come up with our investigation report with the necessary recommendations, Mr. Chair.
So meron na tayong freezing na ginawa.
Not yet, sir, because as you may recall, Mr. Chair, during the last hearing, we said that we have yet to get a copy or be informed of the filing of predicate offense, which is the violation of RA 9165. And that's what we are waiting, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that's good. So there's now a predicate crime which will give legal basis on the freezing of the accounts.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, hindi kaya Naka-ano na yung mga yan. Anyway, your monitor, we don't want to discuss
Mr. Chair.
details of that. Yes, Congressman Flores.
In relation to that, Mr. Chair, I'm also worried about the titles that are in their names, Mr. Chair. There's a list submitted to us that there are like 291 land titles in the names of the persons who were mentioned earlier, Mr. Chair. And I'm worried that this could be sold or transferred to other people while AMLAC is still doing their job, Mr. Chair. And I'm wondering what can be done to preserve these assets and these properties, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, okay, maybe we can ask the LRA. No, is LRA, what actions have you taken?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Currently, the LRA is monitoring these titles to see if any transactions are being made over them. We will, of course, keep this committee apprised of whatever happens. In the meantime, also, we are waiting for cases to be filed so that we can have the titles diverted to the government via SG proceedings.
Okay, so SG. Yes, Congressman Ako.
May I ask LRA,
Yes, Your Honor.
supposing before the cases are filed, there will be transfer of ownership of this property. Do we have any records?
At present, Your Honor, we cannot do that because it would violate a person's right to property.
Mr. Chair,
Please. go
other
ahead.
than S-sheet proceedings, what can the government do to at least forewarn possible buyers that these properties are subject of an investigation and that as much as possible they should stay away from these properties? Like, would the lease pendants be a course of action, LRA?
Yes, Your Honor, notice of list pendants would be proper to apprise the public that there are proceedings over the particular parcels.
Even if the cases does not necessarily have anything to do with the properties? For
That is-
example, drugs or something like that?
It
Or
should-
falsification of these documents that led them to have Philippine citizenships?
Sir, Your Honor, I'm afraid that it has to go into the very ownership or legal possession over
That's
the property.
precisely my concern, LRA, no? Kasi it's 291 titles, di ba? And I don't want that to be just like gone after people start knowing that we're really digging into this. Di ba? I'm asking you, or any of the government agencies present here, what can be done to preserve these properties?
Your Honor, we can have a freeze order implemented if the AMLAC will file with the court a request for a freeze order.
AMLAC, what can we do, AMLAC?
In any money laundering investigation, Mr. Chair, that is one of the possible legal action that the MLC can do. But again, Mr. Chair, as I mentioned in the previous hearing, it must be proven that there is a reasonable ground that these properties are in any way related to the unlawful activity.
Well, if you're questioning their citizenship, wouldn't you in effect be questioning their ownership of the property since they are not Filipino citizens?
Mr. Chair, we cannot use as basis the citizenship of a person for the freezing.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Can a non-Filipino citizen own property in the Philippines?
They cannot own, Mr. Chair, because that's in our constitution.
Yeah, but they have titles right now, and you're questioning some of the cases that have been filed according to the DOJ, questioning their acquisition of Philippine citizenship.
I understand that, Mr. Chair, but if the AMLAC will use as a basis for freezing of property, their ownership being foreign nationals will be going beyond our mandate, Mr. Chair. Because the mandate of the MLC would be the freezing in relation to the unlawful activity.
Okay, then who would be the proper agency to at least man lang annotate or something na may something questionable as far as the acquisition of these properties are concerned? Who is the proper agency? None?
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes, sir.
we would propound that the OSG is the proper party to do this if they file a case assailing the citizenship of the owner.
DOJ, would you confirm?
I confirm that, Your Honor.
So can OSG, Motopropio, like file lease pendants claims against these properties while the complaints have been filed?
Well, I believe, Your Honor, please, that first there has to be, as mentioned by our colleague from the AMLC, the existence of the predicate crime has to be established first. And once a case is already filed in court by the Department of Justice, if the informations have already been filed, then I think it would be an appropriate basis for the filing of annotation for lease pendants.
So filing in court pa,
Yes.
not the mere filing of the complaint?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's nothing that can be done right now legally?
If I may,
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I believe that the most that we can do for now is to monitor any transactions that may involve the properties concerned, no? Just to advise future buyers who may be interested in the properties to take a second look,
Mm.
because these cases are now subject of a committee hearing.
Yeah.
But other than that, Your Honor, please, I think it would be a violation of due process as well if we already cease or
Without seizing it?
yes, without maybe not ceasing it, Your Honor, but to make any annotation just yet in the titles.
Because I'm really concerned, Mr. Chair, not only that they could transfer it, but the sheer number of titles involved in this particular cases, Mr. Chair, is very concerning, very serious one.
No, based on the latest records, it's not 290, it's 320 titles, land
It's even
titles.
more. Huh?
I don't know, is there a way that, anyway, a case has already been filed, no? If, assuming, I'm just, this is an innocent, assuming Mr. Willie Ong, I sold his property to Juan de la Cruz. The fact that Willie Ong acquired the property through fraudulent means and then sold it to Juan de la Cruz, doesn't that make it fraudulent too? Meaning walang effect or void or not valid?
Your Honor, there is a Supreme Court decision that where a foreigner sells property to a Filipino citizen, the defect there is now cured because there is no longer a constitutional prohibition on this person who purchased the property.
Well, Mr. Chair,
Please go ahead.
LRA, how about an adverse claim on the part of the government?
Your Honor, it may not lie, sir, because what an adverse claim really does is that there is a natural person who is questioning the ownership over the property.
Well, the question on ownership is the fact that we're questioning his citizenship, how he acquired it. And we're claiming that he acquired it illegally. And since he is incapable or he's acquired citizenship illegally, then he cannot own or possess real property. Wouldn't that be correct?
It has to be noted, Your Honor, that an adverse claim must be made by someone who claims ownership as
Well,
well.
the Philippine government would claim ownership.
That would be premature.
It would be premature.
What we would want the state to do would be to file escheat proceedings so that the properties can revert back to the state.
But the escheat proceedings would be based on what?
The fact that the properties are owned by someone who is disqualified from owning such property.
But the disqualification is still being questioned. We're still actually filing a case nga that he obtained his citizenship illegally.
We will have to await the filing of escheat proceedings so we can have an annotation of
So,
this
LRA,
pendant.
you're saying that as of now, we can't do anything to stop the transfer of this property?
I'm afraid so, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chairman, baka meron pang pag-asa.
Yeah. Okay, Congressman Fernandez.
We all know, Mr. Chairman, that the problem of this owning of these properties by foreigners started with the PSA. Di ba? Alam naman po natin yan eh. And we have established that Eddie Yang is a foreigner who were able to get a Philippine passport because of the issuance of the PSA. Di ba? Alam naman natin yan. Establish na natin yan nakarang hearing. And we have found out, Mr. Chairman, along with our questioning in the last hearing, that the PSA have contracted a private company in the name of Unisys. Actually, ngayon lang po natin nalaman no last hearing that ang PSA contracted a PPP project with a Unisys Corporation. Am I right, PSA?
Yes, sir.
Correct, di ba? At itong contract natin sa Unisys, nasa phase 2 na po tayo, correct?
Yes po.
How much is
At magkano yung first phase 1 natin na inubos na pera ng ano? Actually, kung public-private partnership siya, Ma'am Marisa, so basically, kung public-private partnership siya, ang unang gumagastos dito yung private, correct?
Yes, sir.
How much was spent for the phase 1?
For the phase 1, sorry, I have to get it, sir. But for the phase 2, we have 1.5.
1.59 yung phase 2. I'm
1.5
asking
billion.
for the phase 1. How much was the phase 1?
We'll check mo na. Yeah.
Ito mga pupunta kayo dito, hindi kayo handa. PSA.
Sorry po.
You know the phase 2 is 1 billion and 59 million. 590 million. 1.5. Magkano yung phase 1?
The phase 1 kasi, sir, is a build, operate, transfer.
Oh, so it's a different scheme? BOT?
Under PPP pa rin po siya.
PPP
but,
pa rin siya, pero build, operate, transfer.
Yeah.
For how many years? 13 years.
From the original contract, sir, was 10 years. And it was extended because we had to have a bidding, the bidding process for the phase 2.
So you contracted Unisys. Did you undergo a due diligence
Yes,
before
sir.
accepting yung sa bidding process ng Unisys?
The bidding process goes through the PPP, Your Honor, for the phase 1, and also for the phase 2, there's an open bidding conducted.
Are you aware of the problem that have been encountered by the Unisys in the United States, the Department of Homeland Security?
No,
Are
sir.
you aware
No.
of it?
No, sir.
You're not aware of it. Yung problema ng Unisys sa FBI na kung saan they have contracted the Unisys Corporation sa Department of Homeland Security, which was discussed in the committee of the Congress of the United States, wherein they were accused of criminal fraud. And if I may read, Mr. Chairman, in 2006, Washington Post reported that the FBI was investigating Unisys for alleged cybersecurity lapses under the company's contract with the United States Department of Homeland Security. A number of security lapses supposedly occurred during the contract, including incidents in which data was transmitted to Chinese servers. Are you not aware of this? That this Unisys already encountered so much problems. Meron pa ako isang kaso sa kanila. Unisys also. And you contacted and contracted with this Unisys Corporation. 150 computers, according to FBI, were transferred to the Chinese government. All the data of the Department of Homeland Security. Are you not aware of this?
We have no knowledge about it.
Yun. Yun ang problema natin. Hindi tayo nag-due diligence. Ang problem, Mr. Chairman, dito po sa 1.7 billion contract ng Department of Homeland Security, yung kanilang 150 computer were traced to a Chinese language website for hackers. And this stealing of data and sending it to Chinese site, all the while that Unisys was certifying to the government that its network was secured. So kung Department of Homeland Security, ang kanilang mga data ay nanakaw ng Chinese government, what more? Ang Philippine government. Unisys, are you aware of this problem that was encountered by your company?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So I'm not aware about that.
You are not aware. You are from the Unisys,
I am from Unisys Managed Services Corporation.
He's the president.
Under, you know,
and you are the president.
Yes.
Hindi mo alam itong naging problema ng korporasyon ninyo?
nope, I'm not aware.
And you are not aware also of the Washington Post na pinag-inimbestigahan sa committee ng Department of Homeland Security ni Representative certain Jim Lunchbin, I think from Illinois, that ang contractor ng Homeland Security na Unisys accused of overbilling their customers. And in accordance with your Glassdoor salaries of the Unisys in the Philippines, meron dito IT service desk analyst na kumikita o sinasweldohan nyo ng 324,000 to 420,000. Is this correct? President ng Unisys.
I'm not aware
Website nyo to, brother. Ha?
Yeah.
Babanggitin ko isa-isa. Okay.
If I may, Congressman Fernandez, the issue is equally as important as the issue that we're tackling today. This is about drugs. And that issue, as I stated, is equally important. Maybe we can, may I
Summarize.
ask your indulgence that we just tackle this in the other matters.
I will abbreviate, Mr. Chairman.
Please, okay.
Para for the...
You're given
okay.
that.
Abbreviate ko na lang, Mr. Chairman. The reason why I'm trying to explore this issue is because yung Unisys po, Mr. Chairman, I was about to go there. During that time, they were accused by the Department of Homeland Security of having a criminal fraud and transferring all the data to the Chinese government. Documented to. And now, nasa taon po tayo ng 2024. Kasi, ang Unisys po is in partnership with Lenovo. Are you aware of this, that you are in partnership with Lenovo? Ang Unisys? Tatapusin ko na po ito, Mr. Chairman. Because,
Please wrap up, Congressman Fernandez.
and the reason why I'm trying to tell this, Mr. Chairman, that the Unisys is in partnership with Lenovo because Lenovo is a Chinese computer company. At yun ang ginagamit po ng ating digitalization, yung ating automation by the PSA. At kung ang ginagamit natin pong mga infrastructure, hardware, software, is under Lenovo, which is in partnership with Unisys. Mr. Chairman, all our data, hindi na tayo makakapag-complain. Nasa kanila na lahat. The millions of data of me, you, and everybody in here were already been gathered by the Chinese government. And that's the reason why I'm asking the PSA, bakit hindi natin alam to? Dito tayo na-compromise, Mr. Chairman, not only with the local civil registrar, na kung saan ay na-abbreviate din po nila yung procedure on the late registration. Because they have issued a memorandum circular na kung saan binabanggit, Mr. Chairman, napakadali na po ng pagkuha ng late registration. If I may, Mr. Chairman, no? Siguro, ano ko na lang po mamaya, explore ko na lang. But, ang issue po natin dito sa PSA, 5 na lang po ang requirements. How many requirements do we have, PSA? Doon sa late registration?
Under AO number 1, series of 1993, minimum requirements of 5. But in the JMC guidelines issued in 2021 with the DILG, we added additional requirements, Your Honor. And recently, we have already provided the additional guidelines for the delayed registration through Memorandum Circular 2024-17. This was published on June 12. So, ang effectivity po nito ay June 12. And we have additional mandatory requirements to make sure that the identity of the person pagka nagpa-delayed registration.
The reason why I'm asking this, Mr. Chairman, no, kasi nakita po natin that the foreigners, especially yung mga Chinese foreigners, ang ginagamit po nila ay yung late registration and yung bibigay po nila ng data sa system natin that is being owned by Lenovo in partnership with the Unisys. In other words, Mr. Chairman, nakaka-access sila directly. Kaya nga, nung nakaraang hearing tayo, nagtataka tayo, bakit sa LCR, wala naman silang pinorward sa PSA, pero ang PSA nakapag-issue. So in other words, sa level pa lamang ng PSA, nakikita natin that namamanipulate na po nila yung pagbibigay ng tinatawag nating certificate para magamit nila sa pag-issue ng passport. Thereby, nagiging Pilipino na sila at pag Pilipino na sila, nakakabili na sila ng property. Yun po nangyari, itong katotohanan eh. Napaikot tayo eh.